Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Legendary Series Master Builder King of the Hill. We're getting ready for our fourth match of the day, which is Xixo versus Reynad. This is coming up here with Archon versus Tempo Storm. And Reynad is going to be bringing a couple of different decks, but for the most part, some things that we've been seeing already a lot. Taking a look at what's happened so far, we've had three matches. TJ, can you break it down what happened?
First match of the day was Dog versus Hyped, and Dog 2 that won 3-1. So Dog moved on to play Xixo. It was a very close series, but Xixo managed to come out on top of that one. That was a fun series to watch. And of course, what we just saw was Xixo taking out Trump 3-2 off the back of that Tink Master on the Tyrion Fordring.
Pretty ballsy play.
Very, very ballsy.
But ballsy in the sense that, he was really far ahead, so he could take that risk. And, in the end, it's a story that you'll never forget. That Tink Master won Xixo $1,000.
It was a 25% chance for him to just straight up win the game, because I think there was 4 creatures on the board. So regardless of what it turned Tyrion into, all you need to do is get through the taunt to be able to innervate out the Force of Nature Saboteur combo. So I think those are pretty good odds when you're ahead to just straight up win the game. So
Yeah.
he went for it, and he was rewarded.
Well, now we go into the next match here coming up on the stream. We have Reynad going to be bringing Druid, Paladin, and Rogue. Now, we've seen Druid and Rogue a lot throughout the day, partially to blame because of Xixo and because of Dog. But we have yet to see if Paladin can really keep up with that kind of speed because, Paladin hasn't been terribly impressive in the previous series where we saw Trump play. He was overwhelmed pretty easily by Druid. How does Paladin fare against Rogue?
Rogue actually has a pretty decent matchup against Paladin. They have a lot of ways to deal with pretty big boards. They have really easy ways to deal with like Muster for Battle, which is one of the problematic things that a lot of people have been struggling with since Paladin has become more popular. So they have ways to just gain back tempo and gain board control over Paladin. And when Paladin's playing from behind, they're not necessarily as strong.
Gotcha. Well, one thing that I like what Rogue has at its utility is AoE. That's the primary way you handle a lot of the pressure that he can put on. Fan of Knives is super important. Blade Flurry is really crucial to destroy the board. So all these different factors coming in, you have to be worried about what Paladin can do to build the board. Now this is assuming this is a normal Paladin. This is a Paladin that'll probably be a little bit slower variant. Still has a shield mini-bot, but I have to imagine that he's going to scale with the amount of legendaries.
This could be reminiscent of the old school control Paladins that you were talking about. With, of course, Nat Pagel and Tink Master over Spark.
I mean, he's got the gruesome twosome, Tink Master and Pagel, but he also has the Muster for Battle Quartermaster combination. Does he just hold on to that, or does he want a faster start with Mini Bot and other cards? True Silver Champion.
Did Xixo just get brighter?
It could be. Could be turn on his lights. It could be getting dark, so he's turning on his house lights and getting.
You said he's in California now?
Yeah, he's actually in Antioch. For anybody who's curious as to what city exactly he's in.
And here's his address. We're going to flash it across the screen. Nat Pagel is, you said, slower matchups. It could be pretty hard. Gets a draw on the first time. Caught one.
Thank you. Well, that's already good for Reynad because he's already climbed back and paid for the card. Not to mention that it's going to be absorbing a little bit more health and attention. And in order for Xixo to deal with this, he has to expend a backstab. And so normally a way for this SI7 agent is to go for a 2-for-1 early on to grab the early board tempo, but instead he has to use it on a hero power and Pagel.
And I mean, attacking it was the right choice. Using the weapon to attack into it during that first turn. If he had already had the backstab in his hand, maybe not so much. But I guess it would have been the same outcome either way. If he was expecting a hero power to come the next turn.
All right, Violet Teacher on cue. Seems appropriate. No signs of a True Silver Champion yet.
Now, Muster for Battle seems like a pretty decent play this turn. But you can't afford to give up too much ground. If he has Fan and Knives in his hand in that situation, if he didn't use Consecrate right here, then he would have lost just like all semblance of control over the game.
He still needs a choose over champion though in order to climb back.
Yes, he
their
does.
key against the mid game.
Well, well, well. How do you do?
Reynad's actually gotten very fortunate so far this game. On both ends. Like Xixo has the Fan of Knives, and he like had the good answer to Pagel, so that way he would like lose out on 2 cards.
People document this this game right now. Just go ahead and record it.
On January 31st,
Put it in the
Reynad got
archives. So every time Reynad says, "I've been getting really unlucky in tournaments lately."
Oh man, is this old school Control Paladin with new fused GBG cards? He's got Kodo in here.
What is this, a restaurant? Classic Italian with American fusion.
You went really far for that one. I was like, I don't know what you're saying, man.
Usually that's
But
what restaurants use.
I want to laugh.
Is the old flavor of the
Yeah,
fusion. Yeah.
You mean P.F. Chang's, right?
P.F. Chang's.
Underrated restaurant. I like it. It's not like it's definitely not authentic by any means, but
Oh no.
it's great. I love it though. In order to deal with Sylvanas, you have to suicide everything, which is unfortunate. It's just another 1/1 token that you can't fight against Paladin. But you can build up a reasonable sized Van Cleave 6/6.
And I think 6/6 is a nice sweet spot, unless you're going like all in. Like you know you're in a rough spot in the matchup, and you have to make a really risky play to get like a 12/12 Van Cleef out. I mean 6/6 is fantastic for a 3-drop and plays around big game hunter as well. So.
Well, if he plays Dr. Boom, it's just going to get Fan Knives, but I think Reynad's okay with that because it leads into a Quartermaster play the following turn.
Yeah, I actually would have liked Iron Big Owl stampeding Kodo.
Well, considering how many big targets you know are in this deck, I think Kodo will be super valuable.
With the Aldar Peacekeeper
right.
Kodo combo. He's already used one Aldor though. Maybe he's running a Humility.
I would have to imagine he's not, just because he needs to cut something for shielded minibot and all those. Maybe he's not even running that though.
It's possible.
It could be just Quartermaster Muster for battle and everything else normal Paladin.
Did old school Paladins used to run Defender Vargas? I don't quite remember that being in there back in like the Fight Night days when heavy control Paladin was a thing.
Right. No, that makes sense. Whew.
Ouch.
Heavy price. So is this Van Cleef. 6 damage. It's a lot. 2 Kodos. Huh. So Reynad goes down to 15. There's 7 represented on board. Well, if he's running 2 Kodos, then I think he might have been right. It would have been safer to go for the Kodo play.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Dr. Boom. But Dr. Boom is it's also just so problematic because he needed to have Fan of Knives.
It's such a great... Dr. Boom is never really a terrible play to make on turn 7. Unless you're like overwhelmingly behind on the board,
right?
And you need to make a play to like save your life or prevent way too much damage from coming in.
Right.
But I just feel like that was a good opportunity for him to take initiative. But Dr. Boom seems always to be okay choice.
So he's gonna Kodo before he swings. I guess he's gonna take out the SI-7H either way. Still a scary moment for the rogue player until they draw some more card advantage or card draw. One thing at a time against Paladin is scary because you're eventually gonna get overrun by like a Quartermaster combination. You also need to really save this Dagger and Blade Flurry combination.
What other legendaries is Reynad running, you think?
I would have to say maybe Ysera is probably his top end.
He's got to have something around. Maybe Black Knight? Oh, Tinkmaster, Nat Pagle, Tyrion, Dr. Boom, Ysera, that's 5. Black Knight, perhaps?
He has to have a 5-mana drop. So
Lotheb, maybe?
Lotheb or Harrison.
Oh yeah, Harrison could be option as well.
Tinkmaster play.
Ooh.
It's about the same. Actually, even just reduced it by 3 damage. So
Yeah.
overall, not. Even though it's definitely not the right side of the coin flip, it could have been worse. That is a big draw, though.
Wow.
To get the auctioneer, like we said, we needed that card draw. And now he's going to be able to push in for a little bit of damage, and now Reynad's in trouble.
Yeah, now this Devilsaur, it's smaller than an Alexstrasza, but it's still pretty big. He's got some Earthen Ring Farseers as well, so he's not afraid whatsoever to just take some damage by using his weapon. Reynad having to lay on hands here just to stay alive. And, yep, there's the Ysera.
This is where it's, of course, you regret everything about that Tinkmaster not putting it to a 1-1 because you're taking so much damage. Preparation off the top doesn't get anything, though.
As much as you can regret it,
Yeah,
like he had a choice.
sure.
Well, it's Reynad, so he had to have known it was going to be a 5-5.
Probably. He still needs second consecration off the top here.
And even then, he still might be.
Still might die.
Yep.
No, it looks like that's it, I think, for game number 1. The Paladin once again getting overwhelmed. The Rogue able to seize the momentum, and Tinkmaster definitely wasn't the saving grace there for Reynad. And he's had this combination of Quartermaster with the 2 Muster battles for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
It's so hard to play in this matchup, just because he had that charge of Deadly Poison for so long, and you always have to play around the possibility of Phantom Knives. So if he had played a Quartermaster Muster for Battle and then it just got Blade Flurried away,
Right.
that was basically a wasted turn for him. So it's a card that sits dead in your hand a lot of times in that matchup, unless you want to risk throwing it out there and giving up ball control that you might have had over the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's going to be game number 1. Xixo's on a tear. He's on 2 in a row. And Reynad doesn't look like he was very happy with how that first game went, but I wouldn't expect anything to change even if he was winning.
Yeah, he's got Druid and Rogue as his follow-up decks here. See what he decides to go with. Goes with Druid. Bold.
This is a battle between 2 Salt Kings, except one of them is not really known for being too much of a Salt King. But Xixo is amongst the saltiest of the Salt Boys. He hates losing a lot. Like, there's times where Reynad is just, he's actually okay. I asked him, like, hey man, how you feeling about a loss? And he's like, well, I played my best. There's nothing else I could do. But there's very rarely a time where I feel like Xixo loses and he doesn't have like 15 things to say about the loss. Maybe they're not excuses, but it's just like he just has to say something about it because he feels so competitive. You know, that's just the type of guy he is. But people don't really know that much about him.
No, he seems to be a quiet soul on the
You
outside.
just have to draw it out of him. Just ask him, Xixo, what do you think about that match? And he'll give you an explanation. Like, one of those things where one time Xixo lost, and then he just told me the entire game on Skype, and I was like, Xixo, I know I casted that match, and he's like, yeah, I know, I was just explaining to you from my
Xixo.
POV. But he basically typecasted the entire match. He's like, turn 1 I played this, and then turn 2 I coined this out, and then turn 3 I innovated that. I was like, yeah, I know, I saw it.
Xixo, I've already had my.
But he's
dose
so
of
like
sodium.
fervent about like playing the game and winning that he has to say something.
Well, that's a good competitor, I think.
Oh yeah, it's also quite amusing and adorable in a way, right? It's like it's endearing, not adorable.
Yeah.
It's endearing.
Reynad's sort of the opposite end of the salt spectrum.
Nah, I mean they're pretty much on the same side of the kaleidoscope.
The kaleidoscope.
Because you know how there's like a lot of colors and variations in kaleidoscopes, but they're pretty much on the same.
But it's round.
No, but you look inside. Have you ever looked inside a kaleidoscope?
Yes. had nightmares about looking inside of kaleidoscopes.
Well, he's got to remove this, by the way. He's got the SI7 agent, but he's taking some damage to do so. He's got some spells. He gave spells for a Gadget Sand power-up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, forgot about the backstab. That also was tucked in there. You can remove it.
Mukla is actually a risky play against Rogue. Like, Mukla, sometimes playing Mukla can put you behind. Because bananas are like a Rogue's dream.
The great outdoors.
Oh, he's going to ramp. And so he can play Ancient of Lore next turn.
Gold bananas are just such a weird card. Just a monkey hand holding banana with other bananas floating around. In like a banana
It's
matrix.
like a fantasy. It's like a Katy Perry music video.
Oh god!
It actually leads to so many combos too. Like, you can banana the SI7 agent, right? Like, it's a big combo enabler. For a long time, Mukla was considered underrated, but now I think he's properly valued because of what's going on here. Alright, well, Xixo realizes that Reynad's going to be taking a lot of punishment. He's going to be at least losing 12 health from this Fan Cleave.
That's pretty tough. And now if he decides to play this Ancient of Lore for draw, there's a lot of damage looking at him on the board.
I mean, that was his plan from the beginning. Like, Reynad, the reason why he played Mukla and not Wild Growth was so that he can Grove Tender Wild Growth the way he did.
Yeah. It was to buy him some time so that way he could get to...
Oh, wow. Thalnos. It's pretty good. Allows you to cycle for a little bit more damage.
Yeah. And he can just use the dagger to...
So many options.
Now you can just use your hero weapon. Oh, you do have Blade Flurry.
I think Blood Mage, Phantom Knives, throw a banana on your SI. Actually, you might want to keep the bananas.
For Gadget Sand.
Yeah. It'd be enticing to just throw a banana on him. He actually goes ahead and uses the Blade Flare. Okay.
So he keeps Fan of Knives, but uses Blade Flurry instead. And this way he gets to set up a new hero power.
It also sets him up for a lethal opportunity next turn. Granted, there's nothing
Whoa!
clear.
Alright, I was not expecting that.
It's like a Mill Druid.
Alright, Reynad.
The Mukla Clockwork Giant combo.
That explains so much about why he has Mukla.
And Grove Tender. Oh, that's a pretty decent swipe. He's still pretty far behind, but he's got a lot of spells in his hand that could be used as sort of comeback mechanics. Rag would actually be good here, but he's one mana off.
He's just a couple points off killing him, too.
Yeah. Banana Banana. It's the name of my new Hearthstone musical.
Cute. So he's going to try to set up for a Rag to be the finishing play here. And if Reynad doesn't draw a minion, he just rats. He's dead. Because he can't play this Clockwork Giant.
Naturalize!
It is a Mildred.
Wow. We just didn't see too many of the mill cards earlier on. Grove Tender, we've seen it in Ramp Druids before. Mukla, there because I guess it sort of fit the theme.
So he's going to naturalize and then... Okay. No, if he draws Preparation, that's over. Or Backstab. All Xixo has to do is find a little bit of ways to find a mana-efficient way to get rid of that big game hunter to guarantee it.
Ah, well, it's a 50-50 regardless.
It has to hit the big game hunter. If it does, Reynad can naturalize it.
Yeah,
No,
wow.
looks like Rag's just going to hit the face, and that's going to be game number 2. I I didn't know this was a mill druid. That's pretty cool. A little unfortunate that we didn't get to see it pan out more, but man, it's actually pretty neat.
I hate saying it, really
So-
do, but I love the face that Reynad makes when he when he loses coin flips.
It's like you see a fragment of a soul just evaporate,
Yeah,
just like whistle away.
just
Well-
you can see it like slide out of his nose a little bit, like his nostrils flare a little bit, and you just watch like this. There it goes. Goodbye, soul.
A gentle breeze passes through the hair. Well, now we're gonna have to rely on Rogue. It seems like you're right. With the series starts off pretty one-sided.
Mhm.
Xixo did come back, reverse sweep Trump. That's what happened in the previous series. Maybe that can happen again on the opposite side of things. Either way, this is another $1,000 for Xixo if he wins. And keep in mind that he came through the open bracket, by the way.
Yeah, he's the only player to come through as sort of an open player. Everybody else is invited, sort of opened it up for one last slot in, and Xixo made it through. So that's pretty impressive in and of itself, and already he's won 2, looking to win some more money. He's on the verge of actually taking a 3-0 series against Reynad, and Reynad, he's had the most creative decks so far out of everybody that's played today. We've seen some innovations with just adding a couple legendaries in to already established decks, but it seems like Reynad is using it as a sort of an excuse to retool a lot of his decks. And Mildred was not something that I
Him and
expected.
Hyped had the most unique decks for sure.
Oh yeah, Hype's mage deck was actually really cool. I wish we could have seen more of that, but alas, Tempo Storm not being rewarded for creativity.
Well, creativity doesn't necessarily mean good.
It's true.
So, to be quite fair.
You could check out these creative decks on TempoStorm.com, soon to be mobile friendly.
Soon to be mobile friendly, you're right. In fact, I think it comes out today.
Be sure to type !PAX in chat to show everybody how much you love PAX.
I just want to make it clear that Zumo is the one saying all this, not me.
No, that was definitely Frodan. Dan Frodan show. That's me.
Oh, Hyped is... I mean, Reynad's playing Malygos in his Rogue.
Well, we saw that earlier with, was it?
Hyped.
Hyped, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Miracle? Is it just straight up Miracle Malygos? I don't know. It's got to have 7 legendaries. It can't be that way. Maybe him and Hyped are playing a similar deck list.
What legendaries could you effectively put in Miracle Malygos? Malygos.
Thanos.
Thanos.
Malygos.
Van Cleef.
Van Cleef.
Lotheb.
Lotheb. Black Knight.
Black Knight, I suppose.
If you're suspecting a lot of Druid.
That's about it.
Ragnaros. It's just starting to seem like a lot of like the old mirrors in a way.
People used to put more legendaries in their decks, is what it seems to be. Because yeah, this is like very reminiscent of a long time ago. I mean, as legendaries got nerfed, people just sort of got rid of them and just replaced them with like non-legendaries.
Know how far we've come to see rogues be able to be played. It was far from the cry of people when back in the day everyone demanded it, that it was like, no, we want to see no rogues anymore because the miracle's too strong.
The oppressive hunters forced the rogues to hide under rocks.
Yeah.
But the king of the hunters, the Undertaker, was dethroned and slain by the almighty Blizzard.
Are you like reciting a copy pasta or something?
Nope. That was off the dome. But that could be made into a copy pasta. I would not be opposed.
Alright, so Reynad matches mana for mana on the Sabotage, but he's still behind on the board tempo. Maybe he coined Sylvanas? Oh, Shiv and Deadly Poison. Makes sense.
Who comes out on top in a more, I guess not really standard, but standard as far as today rogues go versus Malygos?
It's a good question, because Malygos hasn't really come out for a long time. But I would have to say the one that's more focused on being able to go faster is better. Like the whole point of Miracle versus Leroy argument in the past was oriented around which one was faster, and the Leroy was much quicker at getting the job done. Is he gonna sap this Harrison?
Pay attention, class.
The decks actually seem very similar, except for just Malagos being added. There's sabotages on the side of, I guess that's Xixo, yeah. And there's a Sylvanas as opposed to a Black Knight.
I think Reynad's gonna save this preparation, by the way, for Malagos. That'll be like his main way to fight back for the board.
Yeah.
Malagos prep Blade Flurry is like a Flame Strike on the board. In fact,
A Flame Strike just from without it even an empowered weapon.
right.
Just a straight up weapon.
That's a full hand.
Indeed
Reynad
it
has
is.
Cold Light Oracle, it makes him overdraw a lot.
I don't know if you can really fit Cold Light Oracle.
Yeah, it'd be tricky for sure. I mean, at this point, Xixo doesn't even need more cards with like the Gadget Stand Auctioneer. He just needs to make a play.
Even Harrison Jones could become a liability.
Yeah, I think Sabotage is in order here.
Listen up, y'all.
Sabotage, and I guess your Thalnos, unless you want to prep it out, but then you're using your prep just so you can fit in like something else which doesn't feel that good. So I suppose Sabotage Thanos and you attack with the weapon. Not the most sexy of plays. Oh, Eviscerate to the face!
Pushover damage seems
Oh man.
to be a pretty good choice here.
I mean, he's got Rag, right?
Yeah. Ooh, prep. Double prep with Malagos could be pretty big later on.
Can he survive that long, though? What if it's just like Edwin as a 2/2, SI7 on the Thanos and then weapon up?
Yeah, I can imagine he
Or
wants...
actually, other way around. You'd SI7, so you have an Edwin at 4/4.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
dagger
he's
up.
pumping up Van Cleave. All right, he's gonna make it a 6/6. Fair enough.
But Reynad, preparation only works on spells.
Why does he use it? Why does he use that and not the coin?
Maybe he values the coin later on.
Preparation's a gain 3 mana. Coin's a gain 1 mana.
That's true. Most of the spells that he's going to use are 2 mana, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, because he knows his opponent has Harrison, right? So on turn 10, he can use Malagos coin, weapon up, prep, Blade Flurry. So the coin does have its uses.
Yeah, that extra mana comes into play there. Actually, there's a couple situations where it can come into play. I mean, weaponing up could be something that he needs to do either way, even without the possibility of Harrison.
There's not really much for him to do. Oh! Oh my gosh, it's just like the old days.
Timely sap.
It really is 2014 all over again.
We're just going through.
We're just going through every single metagame that's ever been established. We've
Really?
had Hunter,
the Paladin,
we've had the Control Paladin with Tinkmaster and Nat Pagel.
Miracle Rogue.
We have Miracle Rogues.
It's too bad we don't have any warriors today. There was a time where it was all control warriors and
The last thing we need is just Freeze Mage to like be extremely dominant.
no, Frodan.
Well,
You've
how do
gone
you-
too far.
How do you deal with this Malagos now? Wow, actually, hold on. This Malagos doesn't. You can't actually deal with it. You use the sap on the Van Cleave. It's one way.
Oh, that doesn't really deal with it, but
I mean,
he can just throw his own rag out there.
Yeah.
Sap and throw his own rag out there.
oh, sabotage to deal with Rag is pretty nice.
But that Malagos is going to get removed next turn, and he didn't do anything with it.
Well, he can do 4 damage. Well, he did 10 damage effectively with it. Maybe he can plot a way for him to get like a 2-turn kill with Ragnaros and a Van Cleef. Say he sabotages Coin Van Cleef. So 6/6. You put him at 17. 16 with the weapon attack. No, he'd have to reach for damage with like a he's gonna have to draw damage next turn. That's essentially what needs to happen here. Also, how does he remove Malagos easily?
Well, he's been through both eviscerates.
No, I'm saying Xixo. How does he remove Malagos? You're saying he was gonna die. All right, well that's how.
That's actually no. Well, he can't really remove the Van Cleef that as cleanly.
Actually, I think is he dead? No, he can Violet Teacher. Okay, so the Violet Teacher can create 1/1 tokens to make sure that he doesn't die to Ragnar shot. Losing that weapon is a really big deal because now he can't Farseer himself back up to a reasonable health.
Yeah.
Pay attention, class.
Oh, is he gonna Blade Flare? No, he can't. Can he do that?
Well, he can.
Actually,
but he wouldn't remove the.
no, he will. He'll take the extra damage. That's his best shot.
Yeah.
Take the extra Van Cleef damage.
That hurts though.
It hurts, but his card quality is much better.
And he's got more of it.
It's a pretty decent draw.
Well, it is, but at the same time, if he uses Azure Drake, he's sort of limiting himself. This is a really terrible board to use Rag on just because of it hits 1/1s. But he's thinking, what could I pick up with Azure Drake that's going to sort of swing the board back in my favor? I don't think there's that much. He's been through a lot of his AoE.
It'd be like a Viscerate on the target. Violet Teacher, pretty reasonable. Has to kill off one of the 1/1s as well. This is very close.
It is really, really close.
6 damage available. Rogue needs 5. It has Azure Drake. Oh, he can't pick up Eviscerate. Never mind. And there's no way. Like every single turn, like Reynad's also been avoiding getting Harrison Jones as best as he can. You know.
Yeah. Backstab is actually a really great pickup. It creates a token for him, and with the Azure Drake, he's going to be spell powered up. So, effectively, just removing that Azure Drake just for a backstab alone, since he's replacing the token with a fresh one.
Oh man, there's a Ragnar's opening now.
He's here at the ring first.
Oh, you're right. Turn is open. Didn't over yet. Well. Starting to look kind of dicey. He has to sap something now.
Yikes! And regardless of what he saps, it's pretty rough. If he saps the Violet Teacher, he's wasted a lot of damage that that Violet Teacher has already done to him. Azure Drake gives him an extra draw. Hits face.
Yeah, but he goes back up to 15.
Yep.
So the Alex Straza now is going to be threatening to kill, and well, Reynad needs a miracle right here. No, I don't think that's it. There's no way for him to survive anymore. Just because there isn't anything else. So that means it's 3 in a row. 6-0-3-0's Reynad here.
Wow.
And despite the fact that there were some cool decks, just wasn't enough. And that means Xixo wins $3,000.
And it doesn't look
collecting that monies.
And it doesn't look like he's close to stopping. He's just picking up steam, it feels like. Picking up momentum.
Oh yeah, for a long time people said that Xixo was one of the best players in Hearthstone, but people just didn't give him the respect. They were like, oh, he's a ladder player. And
whoa, shots fired.
Well, no, I'd be like, well, he's good at laddering.
I know, I wasn't saying
like,
you said it. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just saying like, well, you're not even letting me finish the explanation.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's like, yeah.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So originally he was like more of a ladder player, and yeah, end of story.
All right, we'll take a look at the bracket that we've seen thus far today. Xixo moves on once again after that 3-0 against Reynad. He's going to go on to face Tides of Time, who has been on a little bit of a break from competitive Hearthstone, a little bit of hiatus, but he's back, full steam ahead.
Yeah, he's been streaming the past few days. I've caught him from time to time. Tides is making a comeback just because he needed some break at the beginning of the year, understandably so. Xixo, in the meantime, has never taken a break from anything, ever.
In his entire life.
No. He only goes hard. That's all he knows how to do. And he's doing excellently here at the Master Builder Week number 2. We want to thank our sponsors who make this possible. Newegg Esports over at Cooler Master, Crucial, and Western Digital. They've been doing a great job with helping us bring you guys great content here for Season 1. And, of course, helping us along that path was Plantronics as well. Towards the end, they hopped on very recently.
Yeah, and, of course, helping us today has been Seventh Son, a movie that's coming out in about a week. February 6th is when it's coming out. That's why we've had sort of the 7 theme today with 7 legendaries.
That's right.
7 different mana costs for those legendaries. $7,000. 7 matches over the course of the day. Both Ferd and I are wearing 7 pairs of socks as well as underwear. We actually have 7 TVs in front of us, 7 producers, 7 casters.
And this joke went 7 minutes too long. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have our 5th match of the day. I liked it, DJ. It was good.
Thank you.
Be back.